Alright guys, welcome back to Fanfiction Ideas, and yeah, I'm going to be talking about an idea that recently came to me. This is a recent idea I had, and in this one, this idea is basically a Gravity Falls X-Men story. But before we go any deeper, I'd like to point out that this is not a Gravity Falls story where they are the X-Men characters. This isn't like that. What this is actually set in. This is a AU set in a certain X-Men universe. This is set in the Wolverine and the X-Men cartoon series. So this is where it is, and there was a time where the X-Men. This is set during the time period where the X-Men have disbanded. The X-Men have disbanded after the whole thing with Jean Grey. So they are, mutants are kind of either you got Genosha or you hide or be captured by the government. That's your two. Those are your only options right now. The X-Men aren't coming to save you. So anyway, in this story, in this universe, no Bill, no magical creatures. It's just that in here, Gravity Falls is a small hidden city, a little hidden town that is a little sanctuary for mutants. However, people do hide their abilities. People do hide their powers so they can get tourism around here. But when there's no tourists around, yeah, this is a town full of mutants, and it reminds you. So in this continuity, Gravity Falls was created by Stan and Ford, and as well as the other members of the founding, the other founding members of Gravity Falls, the Northwests. Yes, they did help in this universe. They were the ones who founded Gravity Falls with the help of a mysterious benefactor, and I'll get to that benefactor in a bit. Anyway, so in here, Dipper and Mabel are starting to manifest their mutant abilities, and their parents are freaking out, like, "Oh my God, the government's going to come and kill our children. We got to send them to We got to go send them to their great uncle to be safe." And the powers I had in mind for Dipper and Mabel is that Dipper can actually control gravity. He can actually manipulate gravity, he can actually focus to make things around him like lighter or heavier. Like the heaviest he can go is like he can literally focus the weight of Jupiter on you, like the gravity level. Jupiter's gravity on you and center it on you. So that's the heaviest, and he thinks he can actually go heavier with a little training. So there's that. Mabel, on the other hand, Mabel's a teleporter. Mabel can teleport. She can actually, at first she can only go 5 feet away from things, but soon enough she learns how to bounce around. The more the story progresses, she learns to she's able to travel. One moment she's in Gravity Falls, another moment she's in Maine and can bounce back. So that's the idea, is that she's a very skilled teleporter. So the two of them are sent off to Gravity Falls to be safe, and in here, Stan and Ford's here, and Stan and Ford are both telepaths. They're both very powerful telepaths, and their abilities are actually stronger when they're together. But Stan likes to use his abilities to mentally trick people into buying his stuff or go to the Mystery Shack. Yeah, because Stan would. Stan would totally do that. So that's the big thing in here, is that Stan likes to use his telepathy, but Ford usually is like, "I'm going to break them out of your control, Stan. Stop it." You gotta ruin my fun as always, Ford. But anyway, so in here, we got other characters like Seuss. He can actually turn his body into a kind of clay form. He's like a mutant version of Clayface, except with without the shape-shifting. He can just turn his body into he calls himself Muck. He calls himself Muckman, because he can just turn himself into a ball of sentient slime. So there's that. But however, there are a bit of antagonists in the town, in that, Robbie and the rest of the teens are, causing a lot of trouble and cause a lot of the other members of the town to, like, be totally afraid that they're going to expose them because they're getting very, rambunctious, they're getting loud, they're making too much noise. And it doesn't help that they, like, really idolize Magneto. They really idolize Magneto and call themselves, and like to think of themselves as another chapter of the Brotherhood of Mutants. Like, a lot of the people out there are like, shut up, shut up. So, Robbie in this universe is actually a bastard child of not Magneto, Sabretooth. He calls himself Satan Tooth, because he's like, yeah, I'm edgy, my dad's Sabretooth, but to make myself edgier, I'm Satan Tooth. So he does have all of Sabretooth's abilities, healing factor, claws, teeth, all of that, enhanced senses, and he thinks of himself as this, like, big badass, more or less. He thinks of himself like this big badass, and he's more or less got everyone around, his circle of friends. You've got Leah Nate, who who can create fire and ice, respectively. You've got Tambry, who can actually, like, shoot beams of light from her hands. You've got Thompson, who is super strength. And then you have Wendy, who can actually, like, her thing is that she can change in size. She can actually, is a size changer. She can actually grow to, like, 50 feet to 75 feet tall. But the problem is that she doesn't like to use her powers, mostly because there's a fear that, there's not a lot of clothes there's a lot of clothes I go through, there's a lot of clothes I go through if I keep doing this. So, yeah. Meanwhile, the Northwests are, they consider themselves genetically superior. They consider themselves the true Homo superior. They are, Pacifica, actually, like, I had in mind that she has, a vast array, what was her power exactly? Because I keep forgetting what I gave her. Oh, yeah, like, she can actually, like, mimic. She's actually a lot like Mimic, the X-Men villain Mimic, in that she can mimic other people's abilities in tandem. Like, and that's also a family trait, apparently. So a lot of people are like, man, the Northwest have the ability to copy all of our abilities? That's kind of bullshit. Mostly because it turns out that, remember that mysterious benefactor I talked about? Oh, we're going to talk about that person right now. So it turns out that the benefactor of this little thing is none other than Mr. Sinister. For years, because Sinister is, like, friggin' old, old since the 18th century, Mr. Sinister has been, like, had helped create Gravity Falls from the shadows. He'd been actually helping to fund creation of the town, build it as a secret sanctuary for mutants, and this whole time he's been using it as like a little laboratory and a little place where he can go and extract mutants. This is a place where he can go and harvest mutants whenever he sees fit. If he sees a mutant that he enjoys, like a mutant that he thinks that, oh, that person's genes could be really helpful to my plans. I'm gonna borrow this one. I'm gonna borrow this one and maybe turn him into one of my marauders. So that's the big thing, is that Sinister uses this town as his, place where he can find little new guinea pigs for his experiments. So that's the big thing with this story, is that in this story, the mystery is who is the benefactor of this city, and how do the Gravity Falls group manage to stop him? How do they stop Sinister and his control over the town? So there's that. There's also the other matter of, trying to keep, the government away from finding Gravity Falls and finding out, oh, it's full of mutants, wipe it out. So that would be another big thing. That would be another building thing throughout this story, is that, they have to battle Sentinels. I actually thought of since this is the Wolverine and the X-Men universe, there were some characters that they didn't get to have in here, so I thought, yeah, let's have a few versions of them in here. Like, one of the big villains they had to face is this universe's version of Bastion. And Bastion is a very powerful Sentinel, very intelligent Sentinel, and yeah, he's one of the major enemies they have to overcome. There's also, I had in mind a story where they encounter the Brood, as well as, like I said, Sinister is the big enemy. Also, another enemy I thought of, like, for them to fight is Exodus, Holocaust, Cameron Hodge, Cameron Hodge, the Phalanx, like all of these X-Men villains that we didn't get to see in Wolverine and the X-Men. I thought, yeah, let's have them in here. There was also an idea I had where I would introduce a version of the Thunderbolts, who in here, Norman Osborn does have control over the Thunderbolts, but in this version, they're used as a mutant. Unlike hunting superheroes, they're a new group that hunts mutants. And on this team, it's similar to the one with that was seen in what was it? Post Civil War. With Venom, Mac Gargan Venom, excuse me. Songbird, Radioactive Man. But I did exclude Bullseye and replaced him with Absorbing Man. So that was kind of one of the few differences, really. So yeah, that was kind of the idea I had for this story. It was just a fun little, hey, X-Men, Gravity Falls characters with superpowers. How would that go? That was kind of the whole idea for this story. So there you go, guys. You guys tell me, what do you think? What did you guys think of this story? Did you guys like it, hate it, and also what characters would you want to see? What characters would you want to see in here? Whether they be villains or heroes, etc. And yeah, what powers would you give the Gravity Falls characters? Just comment below, let me know, and once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.